Hi, welcome to my first ever how-to video. I'm going to show you how to grow semi-hydroponically. It's a different method of growing Hoyas, and I'm going to try this for the following reason. This is Hoya semi-hydroponics. It was a beautiful plant over the summer, and I seem to have killed it for the umpteenth time, and I'm kind of tired of it, to tell you the truth. I don't know if you can see it in the video or not, but this is a very unhealthy root system. It was too cold and damp, and it immediately rotted the roots out. This is a textbook example of a rotted root system, which makes me feel bad. When a plant starts losing leaves and one turns yellow right after another, you can keep kidding yourself and telling you this plant's all right, it'll pull out of it, and you're just kidding yourself because it simply won't do it. The best thing you can do is to start that plant over again. And since I've lost this plant a number of times, trying to grow it conventionally, I'm going to try and experiment with semi-hydroponics. I tried this a few years ago with limited success, but I've since fooled around with it again, and it looks a lot more promising to me. So I'm going to show you how we do this, and we're going to sort of learn together. And we'll follow this plant over the next few months and we'll see how it works. First of all, you're going to need a container. This was bought specifically for semi-hydroponics. It has 2 holes punched in here. But don't despair if you can't find these, because you can easily make your own. Simply go to the hardware store, buy a 1 quart plastic container. This one happens to have measurements on the side. It's not beautiful, but you simply take a torch, heat your screwdriver tip till it's very hot, push holes in there. You can push as many as you want. I happen to have 4 in here, possibly 3, and this forms a reservoir, and when the water will keep its own level right here, and it will wick up through the hydroton. This is hydroton right here. It's also you can also find a similar product called Prime Agra. It works the same way. This I've soaked for 24 hours in a mixture of water and just a little bit of this. I'm not sure if it does anything, but it sure can't hurt. I've used it for quite a long time, and it will last forever. One of these containers is called Dynagrow KLN Rooting Concentrate, and that's what I use. So we're going to try to do this with as little mess as possible. This is full of its soaking water. I'm going to take these, I'm going to put these containers in this tray to try to contain the mess. We're going to take this and we're going to fill these. As you can see, the water will find its own level. It will always keep this much in the reservoir, which will continue to wick up through the container. And we're just going to add just a little bit more. Bring it up to the top. Now we're going to take the cuttings that I took off of that poor plant. I took the liberty of putting blue tape on the end so I know what direction this plant grows in. So we will pull this tape off, and we are going to insert it up into where the leaf node comes back to the stem. And we'll find some more. The one benefit of doing this is you've got plenty of material for cuttings. I probably have a little too much here, but better too much than not enough. So if some of these fail, some of them ought to root. And we're going to do another little thing here. I have these metal trellises which are readily available on Amazon. They cost about $1 a piece. I'm going to push this into the hydroton then we've got something to clip these wandering stems to. And it's also going to serve another purpose, which I'll explain in a minute. And we have a cat here that's trying to help us, but I really feel he'll be of limited use. He prefers to eat the plants rather than plant them. This stem is about 4 or 5 feet long. I'm going to take this bottom leaf off and push as much of that into the substrate as I can force into it. These are, by the way, are bumblebee hair clips. These are available in all kinds of different insect configurations, but the bumblebee works the best in my opinion. The dragonfly, which I bought some time ago, I rarely ever use because it pinches the vine off. It simply makes too tight of a connection. These are larger and there's an airspace in between, so you can clip your plant without killing it. This is definitely going to be a fun experiment. By the way, these bumblebee clips are available. You can buy them in as large a quantity as 10,000. I have buy them at 500 a time. It seems to be what works out best for me. I probably go through 500 of these things every couple years. I don't see how it happens, but it seems like it never fails. We're just going to add just a few more pellets in there so that those stems are fully seated into the container. Now, the secret to getting this to root after this is to enclose the entire container in a plastic bag. And what I find works best for this, if you can find these, I use these all the time. I've saved my Hoya collection on more than one occasion. It's a hefty clinch sack. It's clear, tall kitchen bags. It's a 13-gallon size, and it's a perfect mini environment when you need to save a bunch of Hoyas in a hurry. You can slide them into these plastic bags, which will hold the humidity in, which is crucial for rooting to take place. Dryness will not root your cuttings. So I'm going to enclose this entire thing inside of one of these clear garbage bags. And we have a stray hydroton ball, which I'll put in there. And we very carefully pull this up around the entire thing. Try to center it in the bag so that when you pull the strings tight, you don't tip anything over. We're going to take this whole thing after this is tied, holding in all of the humidity, and we're going to put it in a warm, bright place, but not in direct sunshine, because of course that would cook your plant. So there you have it. We're going to revisit this plant in 3 to 4 weeks, and we're going to see if any rooting has begun to take place. So until we come back to look at this plant in 3 or 4 weeks, this is Doug, and I think it'll be a fun experiment that we can do together, and I'm hoping it works. Thank you. Hi. Welcome to the second part of my growing Hoyas the semi-hydro way. It's been about a month since I potted these cuttings up, and we're going to unwrap them together and see what's beginning to happen in the container, see if there's any rooting that's started. I did 2 of these at the same time. One was Hoya semi-hydroponics, and one was a Hoya that the roots rotted off. I was going to lose it, but I can't pronounce the name, so I'm not even going to attempt it. When I get it out of the bag here, maybe my videographer can take a peek at the name tag. Pull that out of the... So, I don't know if that'll show up or not. This plant is kind of remarkable in the fact that it has been 1 month, and all the cuttings that I put in here, I have not lost 1 leaf. Generally, when you root a Hoya in soil or other medium, some of the leaves turn yellow and you lose them. So right off, I can say that we're already slightly ahead of the game. I think that putting them in the plastic bags, keeping all the humidity in, has really helped. And there are some good roots started here, pushing their way down into the pellets. Don't know if it's really visible or not, but overall I would say for 1 month, the cutting and the potential plant looks pretty good. You're not going to be able to see it in the video, but I can even see some fine roots down in there. Now let's take a look at Hoya semi-hydroponics, which was losing about 3 or 4 leaves a day because of the rotted roots, and I saved as many cuttings as I could. So we'll open this together. I'm going to take this out of the plastic bag. Now this one here has lost like 1 leaf. It's down in the bottom of the bag. It's kind of rotted, but 1 leaf when you generally lose many leaves. We'll bring this over here to the center table, take a quicker look at it. You can see because of the high humidity of the bag, there are aerial roots beginning to form all over the stems. Overall, the plant looks pretty good, having only lost 1 leaf. I think if you look up here, pull back, I think that may be a little bit too close. It looks like there's a couple inches of brand new growth started on this vine. Another inch, here's another vine with an inch of new growth starting to show. And it looks like here we got the same thing. Roots are beginning to form and push their way down into the hydroton. Right here you can see it's complete. There's a root that's completely wrapped itself around one of the little clay balls. So that's a very good sign. I don't think we have good enough light to really pick it up, but oh no, it looks like we might be able to see it. We'll see in the final result of this video. So overall, I'm very pleased. Now, what I'm going to do with this after is they will go back into the bags, and it will be a very gradual process of beginning to take it out of the bag, because it would be too much of a shock to completely take it out of the bag all at once, because it's used to like 95 to 100% humidity, and to take that out into the dry air would really be too much of a shock. So it's a gradual process. The more I look at this, the more pleased I am. I can see more new growth started further down. It looks like these here's another fresh little nub. We're going to begin putting new leaves on. This is only after 1 month. So far I'm very pleased with this experiment. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring a plant out that's been growing semi-hydro for 1 year. I can't pronounce it, but I'm going to make an attempt. Don't hold it against me. It's David Kumingji. I'll get that plant. This plant has been growing semi-hydro for exactly 1 year. Before that, I lost this plant every time I tried to grow it. At least 4 or 5 times this plant died in soil after 3 or 4 months. Every time it started to grow good, I did something wrong, overwatered a little bit, and it died. So I started an experiment growing it in Hydroton, and it has never been out of flower or bud for months and months and months. You can see there's a couple of flowers right here. I'll hold it up. It's been like this, like I said, never out of flower. So it's grown beautifully. So that's what I'm hoping for these 2 specimens over here, that they could grow as nicely as this Hoya. What else can I say about this? I water this plant here. Probably it never goes more than 3 days without getting watered. Sometimes, depending on how dry it is, I could water this plant every day. You cannot overwater a plant growing this way, because the water immediately drains out. The advantage to this is growing exactly in the same container as these 2 plants here. I put it inside of another plastic container with large drainage holes on the bottom. Took these bamboo hoops and strapped them to the outside of this plastic container. And the biggest reason for that is these bamboo hoops will never rot off, because they're not sitting in the water reservoir of the semi-hydroton, of the hydroton. So it's kind of an ideal way of growing it. The bamboo won't rot, and you have a nice trellis for your plant. When I water this, I'll show you what happens. It will fill the 1 inch or 1.5 inch reservoir on the bottom, and any of the excess will pour out of the holes. So it works rather nicely. We'll just leave that in there for now. And every time I water, of course, there is fertilizer, plant food, in the water, because the hydrogen is completely inert and there's no fertilizer in there. So it is necessary to fertilize every time you water. Periodically, maybe once every 2 months, I take this into the shower and I thoroughly rinse the hydrogen to take away any residual fertilizer salts, which doesn't seem to be a huge problem. The other reason that I grow this, put the container inside of a darker plastic container, is it stops the outside from becoming all green with algae. It won't really hurt your plant, it's just a little unsightly. And also, putting it in a plastic container like this makes for a much better looking specimen than something growing in a 1 quart paint container. So that's about it. If and when these 2 plants flower for me, which I'm hoping could possibly happen this summer, because that's what happened with this specimen. I rooted it in semi-hydro in the fall, and by summer it bloomed for the first time, which is amazing speed for a Hoya. So if and when these things flower, I will do a follow-up to this video, and we'll take it from there. So thank you for watching, and I'm not saying this is the way to grow all of your Hoyas, because it won't work on all of your Hoyas, but it is a great experiment, a good thing to play around with, and you can see that it is capable of some amazing results. So thank you once again for watching.